Real Loft House.
BBC Radio Leeds.
You're listening to Breakfast with Rima on BBC Radio Leeds. And now Kate Challinor is a tattoo artist based in Kippax. She's on a mission to help women recovering from mastectomies. She's doing this by setting up her own charity, the Inkredible Foundation, last year, offering breast cancer survivors tattoos and anybody that has scarring, basically, to help them with their confidence. Kate joins me now, along with Sharon Ridgway from Pontefract, who's diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020, underwent a double mastectomy and has one of these tattoos. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
This is such a wonderful thing, Kate. We've chatted a little bit about this before. In the years that you've been doing this, it started as voluntary work. Tell me about this. Where did this idea come from?
Yeah, morning, Rima. It was meeting a lady that had breast cancer. I'd been sort of doing scar cover-up tattoos privately anyway, but I'd met a lady with breast cancer. And I think as a woman, I was pretty horrified that I didn't know the extent of what these ladies had to go through. And really my own discovery. And it simply went from offering it on a voluntary basis via word of mouth. And eventually I just got inundated with requests for the mastectomy tattoos. And I was doing it sort of once a week on a voluntary basis. And then due to the number and the feedback from the ladies, it was quite evident that the tattoos were really helpful and really life-changing to them. So eventually we set up the Inkredible Foundation, which went live last year to try and help as many people that have had breast cancer and that actually have scarring. So it's not just breast cancer, but people with scarring, and we will tattoo over their scars.
There's something really, even symbolically, just really beautiful, isn't there, about having a scar, and which can, that can come with a lot of trauma and a lot of pain that's associated with that, and covering it up with something beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the ladies, particularly that have had breast cancer, they've been through such an incredible journey. And it's really, I get to be there at the end of that journey and to be able to beautify something that they've really struggled with, and just to give them, just to be able to empower them really a little bit and take back a little bit of control, really. And I think cancer is out of their control. A lot of things that happen to us and the reason we get our scars are out of our control. But by beautifying it, it gives us that bit of control back, really.
Absolutely. Sharon, you're here as well. I mean, you've been through it. You've been through the ringer, it sounds like. Did it really help you getting this tattoo? Tell me about your journey. Tell me about where this all started for you.
Yeah, my journey started, as you said, 2020. And when I first got diagnosed with cancer, I had lumpectomy. It's a triple negative cancer that I had. But unfortunately, while I was having the chemo treatment, we found out that I got the BRACA2 gene, which is something I want to raise awareness about. A lot of people need to know about the BRACA2 and the BRCA1 gene. So I underwent then a double mastectomy, and I didn't have nipple sparing either, so I don't have those either. So, and I was left with very uneven, rather ugly, reconstructed breasts. And meeting Kate was just the best thing that ever happened, because I loved I'm quite a body confident person anyway, and I really did love the way that I looked, and it felt like I wasn't me anymore. And by meeting Kate and having these tattoos, I've had a couple of tattoos on there now. I look at myself in the mirror and I absolutely adore what I see, because
wonderful.
I don't see that horrible journey, that thing that I went through. That is now in the past, and I just see these beautiful things that Kate created for me.
Do you know what?
Very privileged.
You're so right, because I think there are so many sort of hidden, especially when I speak to women who've had breast cancer, there are so many hidden awful things that happen aside from the breast cancer, and this seems like one of them, because I mean you've mentioned you said that you didn't feel like yourself, and you felt like you'd sort of like lost a little part of yourself. Strangely.
I'd lost a lot of myself, to be honest, because, I was one of those that used to wear the low-cut tops all the time. I was very busty, and I enjoyed, everyone seeing how busty I was, and to lose that part of of you.
It's kind of a sign of womanhood as well, though, isn't it? Whether or not, you've grown up in a culture that's just what it is. Your boobs are a sign of sort of womanhood. And so I've spoken to a lot of people who said that after they had their mastectomy, they felt like a sort of sense of their womanhood was taken away. Did you go through that at all?
Absolutely. These boobs that I had, they fed my babies, they kept my children alive, and they were a huge part of my life, definitely. It was a sad day when they left, but I wanted them gone, obviously, because I'd rather live than the other alternative.
Of course. You mentioned the BRACA gene. Tell us a little bit more about that as well, because this has affected your daughter as well.
Yes. So because I had a triple negative, for some reason, I don't know the ins and outs, but apparently when you have the BRCA1 or 2 gene, that is the cancer that you normally get, a triple negative. I tested positive for that mutated gene. They said that the whole family needs testing, but everyone got tested, and it started with me. My parents were clear, which I didn't know that happened. I didn't know it could just flare up in someone. But it started with me, and my daughter, unfortunately, got tested positive for it as well. And it took a year for her to have the operation. And she had a double mastectomy and immediate implant. She was only 27 at the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a difficult thing to go through. You've also mentioned just sort of like having the tattoo has changed you. What did you actually get as your tattoo, Sharon?
Well, like most of we have floral designs. I've got a really nice floral design on both. I've got purple on one on my left breast, and I've got a peachy one on the right breast, and it does go over my shoulder slightly.
Do you know what? On top of it being like a really cool thing, it's quite edgy, this. I like this because it's quite edgy.
Do you know, I think a lot of these women that I've spoke to as well, we seem to be getting more and more tattoos. We don't just stay with the breast. I think I might be covered by the end of this.
Kate, what have you started?
I know. I think a lot of the ladies that are coming through, I've never had a tattoo ever. And and so it's fantastic, and I think that it's now more acceptable for us ladies to wear our tattoos with pride, and just it's wonderful, and you can see how can we not help these ladies
absolutely after reclaiming themselves, reclaiming their own sort of female identity. That's so important. And Kate, for anyone who's listening who maybe they're going through it at the moment, maybe they have breast cancer, maybe they're looking for the thing that happens after this whole ordeal that they're going through, maybe they've been through the ordeal already, how can they get in touch with you? How can they make this happen for themselves?
Yeah, really, really easy, guys. The Inkredible Foundation. So it's incredible, but with a chicken K rather than a curly K, as I would say. So theincrediblefoundation.co.uk. If you go on there and just request an application form. And this service is, we were looking at taking applications, and I've tattooed pupils with burns and surgeries, and any sort of scarring that really, it's a mental health charity, so it's anybody that's been affected by the scars, and obviously mastectomies and breast cancer, and it's not just those that haven't, if you've had a reconstruction as well, guys, then please get in touch. We're here to help. If we can, we will.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you so much to the ladies there for sharing their stories. What an incredible thing. See what I did there? Incredible. Coming up to 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. It's the 25th of June. You're here with Rima. We're going to be going on our morning scroll.